Hey guys, welcome back to another new video, and first of all, happy new year to all of you. This video is like super awesome, and that's because I got my new PC. The reason I built this in this video we will be going to see what are the parts I used for it and why did I go for it, and also the reason and the purpose of this PC. First thing, the purpose of building this PC is for cybersecurity, and you actually don't need this much powered PC for cybersecurity purpose. But the reason why I bought this PC, this specs PC, is just to simply future proof it. So now let's see the parts what I used. First thing is the CPU. I went with Ryzen 9 3900X. Actually, I first thought of buying Ryzen 5 3600X, a 6-core one, but my mom said just future proof it, so I just went with Ryzen 9 3900X. And okay, so actually this CPU comes with 3.8 is the base clock, and it can go up to 4.6 gigahertz. You might ask, why didn't you go with Intel? And that I will explain afterwards. So let's first see all the parts. And this is a 12 core 24 thread 3.8 base and 4.6 gigahertz boost clock CPU. And this much powerful CPU, we need a good motherboard to provide power to it. So I just went with Aorus V550 Pro. Actually, this is a great motherboard, and I have recommended it for many people. And this is one of the best B550 motherboard in this price range, around 13 to 16. This is one of the good and best motherboards. Actually, you don't need a master series or anything for this CPU. Actually, this motherboard can even power the Ryzen 9 3950X, or else the latest Ryzen 9 5900X and 5950X. That 5950X and 3950X are 16 cores, 32 thread CPUs. That is totally a beast CPU. Actually, that is actually overpriced one. This is the sweet spot. Talking about the high range CPUs, this is the sweet spot. Ryzen 9 3900, the 12 core one. This actually costs about 42 to 43,000. I will confirm the price afterwards. And the RAM I went with is from Corsair. 8x2 3200 MHz CL15 timing RAMs, comes with 10 years of warranty, and it's actually normal. Speaking of RAMs, the warranty period I am telling about. And the SSD, I actually thought of buying an SATA SSD, but while building this much powerful PC, we need a good SSD. Actually, SSD is a must in these days, because HDDs are too old and they just don't perform that good. And so I went with 500 GB of 970 EVO M.2 SSD. I easily went with an 970 EVO Plus, but it's not worth it. Actually, the money we are spending it's not actually worth it for an upgrade. So this is the good. If you are having a budget around 10,000 rupees for an SSD, you can just go for it. It costs 9,000 rupees, and it's a great SSD. Has 2 gigs of read speed and write speed, and 3 gigs of read speed. That's super crazy fast, and this is one of the best SSDs. Samsung is go-to SSD if you are having a high budget for storage devices, and if you are building for productivity or gaming, you can just go for this SSD. And the reason I bought this SSD also is because I run a lot of VMs, so that needs a virtual disk, right? And all of the virtual disks are stored in this SSD file. So I went within 500 GB. You can also go with 250 GB if you only boot Windows on it for stability and speed. And that's it. The motherboard is this, and RAMs, and we talk about it. And the next thing, the graphics card. This is one of the best and the beast graphics card in the budget of around 16,000 rupees, and this performs like a god level. It's super crazy and super powerful for productivity and 1080p high settings gaming too. And I went with this MSI. Actually, this particular MSI Gaming X is just good, and you might also go with same gigabytes one, but I prefer MSI when it comes to graphics card, because they have BC heatsinks. Beefy heatsinks, and they perform very good, and they have slightly. It's actually the bang for buck. MSI's graphics card usually is the bang for buck, and yeah. And the next thing is the case. And the case I went with this Thermaltake's H200TG RGB. I will show the case and my PC afterwards. And this case is, I thought of buying NZXT's H510 Elite, but it costed around 10,000 rupees. So I just refused it and just bought this case. This cost around 5,000 rupees, and this is value for money, bang for the buck. A cable management is bit tough compared to NZXT 510 Elite, but this case looks awesome, both in aesthetic value and cooling performance. This is just great. And NZXT is like, they just branded, but they have it's the same full metal body build, and this is just super awesome. This case worth the money and bang for the buck. And talking of cooler, I went with Deepcool's one, and before that, let me take it and keep it aside. This is the cooler I went with. This is actually a water cooled AAO. AAO pump, and having two fans. AAO is the all-in-one liquid cooler which comes with a water cooled pump, a pump and two radiator and two fans. Like this is the most and the best cooler if you have aesthetics in mind. This it looks just super. It has a great aesthetic value, and talking about cooling performance, it's great. Comparing to Corsair and other brands, in this price range, this is a beast. This is a monster, because like this CPU gets hotter, very, very, very hot. Actually, it also comes with an free cooler from Ryzem, that Prism Cooler. Let me show you that. A very good cooler actually, but we can't use this for 12 core or 16 core CPUs, because if I am using this CPU, I mean this cooler, my CPU will get around 70 degrees Celsius in heat. So this the cooler came with it. See the size in it. This is beefy and very heavy cooler. And talking about performance, this is great for 8 core CPUs, the Ryzen 7, and it performs well. But for this build, for this powerful CPU, we can't use this cooler. So we need to actually purchase a separate cooler. So I purchased this one, the Deepcool's Castle 240 RGB version 3. This is the latest version, and this looks awesome. The aesthetic value is super great, because I don't have any other RGB parts in my build except this case, and this gives it beautiful aesthetic value. And speaking about cooling performance, as I said before, it's great. In this price range, it performs awesome. So if you're having a budget around 5,000 to 6,000, just go for this. And if you have a bit more higher budget, you can go with Corsair one. The cooling performance of it's bit good, but it performs well. You can just go for it. And that's it. Speaking about the parts, and the main thing is the power supply unit. I just forgot it. Yeah, I used B700H. It's a 700 watt power supply, 80 plus bronze, and it's a semi-modular PSU. I forgot the price. I actually thought with going with Corsair, but the PSU prices are just blowing off. They are just overpriced these days. I don't know why. I think it's due to Corona. And this PSU is just super awesome, and it performs very well. But one thing I hate about this is its power cord. I can't open it now. I will show you later. It comes with a huge pin. We can't use it. Also, it does not come with earth or fuse like Corsair and Cooler Master. So, but in this price range, this is one of the best PSUs you can go for. But they are not doing OEM with Seasonic. So it may fail, you might think, but I have seen many videos and many reviews. This is a good PSU, and in this price range, it's the only semi-modular PSU out there, and you can just go for it if you have you're building this much beefy PC with this processor and a 6050 Super. 700 watts is more than enough, because 650 watts, even 550 watts is enough for this. But I just went with this because if I wanted to upgrade my GPU, I can just go for it. So yeah, now let's see the performance and talk about why especially I went with these.